right, here you go. Jonnu Smith is a Miami Dolphin. 2 years, $10 million, $5 per. There's a lot to go over that. I'm going to talk about that today, plus tight end position, how something I saw at the Combine and I get a chance to mention kind of ties into this. It's a very interesting sign. Not perfect, but it tells us something. I think we're being told something very clearly. Hunt, he had a story yesterday. There's a story kind of surrounding him today. Kind of a yin and yang thing. I'm going to get into that. X was on a Joe Rose show, talked about Greer. There's a little story there. I'm going to get into that as well. And then the cap situation, and then maybe wrap up on Baker, who I didn't really do enough justice yesterday on. So that's the show for today, guys. Doing the Twitter, Curtis at Fins News 1. Join me there. I'm trying to get my Twitter powers up, so help me do the sub, follow, whatever they call that thing. I really appreciate it. If you give me any pointers or tips on how to do this thing, I appreciate that as well. Doing the live tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Friday. Going to go over the whole nuts and bolts of this team. Obviously, Smith now is going to be a big piece of that puzzle. So come join me there. We're going to be talking about that. And then, guys, just want to say the likes, the subscribes, the comments, the views. That's how this show goes. That's how my sponsors keep me in business doing the thing I love. So please, whatever you can do to help me out with that, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and a notification if you've subbed, if you are subbed, and let you know I do my thing. So I do my thing, you can watch. You know the deal. Anyway, guys, I want to give you a shout out. I appreciate all you do, and a shout out to Ace-Bird, my sponsor. Without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace-Per-Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, Jonnu Smith. Last year, he had the third highest yards per catch at 7.1. He is a good pass blocking tight end. He's a threat to catch the football and to make big plays after the catch. He's fast. The guy's a real talent. You having Jonnu Smith on your team is a huge asset. And the thing is, what I've talked about, if you've been watching me, is when you're a coordinator on offense, you want to create 4-point tension. That means you want threats to the wide, to the short, and to the deep, and it pulls and stretches these 11 guys on a big piece of grass to open up areas where the defense snaps and something gets exposed. Now, you got Hill and Waddle, and now Jonnu, who's a real threat. I mean, a real threat. And that is going to accentuate this passing game. It's going to allow options, and it's going to do a ton for us. He is a good pass blocker. Durham Smythe is a good pass blocker. We got Tanakana. I can never remember the guy's name. I don't know what he can do. He hasn't been much so far, but we'll see. And then Hill has got all the physical resume, but he hasn't put it together. Now, this is going to be a boon to the passing game. But I've said before, I've said for years, it's starting to become chic, how we're able to run that football and control the line of scrimmage in the A and B gap. Do you run inside and in short down situations, in bad weather, in the red zone? That is the tension we need to create because everything's on the peripheral. Now, he's going to do some threats to that middle. He's going to create tension, and that's good. But none of these tight ends add to our physicality. And what I've gathered from this signing and Liam Eichenberg, who is going to make 4.3 or something like that million, they could cut him and get 3.4 back. But if they don't cut him, that means they're paying him 4.3 with a very tight cap. He is starting. And if he's starting and Jackson's starting and we have this tight end group, it is going to be crack seal, edge run with hopefully a little stuff inside. And I don't know if it's going to be enough. We're going to need big boys inside to compensate for the lack of consistency of blocking in our secondary blockers and the edge. So I am very happy that this is going to be a threat, and it's going to blow the doors off certain teams more than we even doing. And it's going to even threaten the better teams, but it's that inside running, the physicality that does concern me. I'm a little left wanting. I don't think they're going to spend a pick on a tight end. I think they're going to trade back and try to get that third pick, and they're going to get a D-tackle, edge guy, and an offensive lineman. I think that's three guys they're pinning the ears back on. Good signing by Smith, but we really need some physicality in the worst way. But, we'll see. Maybe we can just keep focusing on this finesse and we'll finally crack the nut. But now there's Hunt. To me, Hunt is bigger piece than Wilkins. I love to keep Wilkins for the defense. He's unbelievable. But we have players there, But when you look at the offensive line, it's so gutted with talent. The loss of Hunt would be devastating. But there was a story that he was in the building. They showed a picture of it. And that led me to believe maybe they're going to sign him. Maybe there's something working in the background. Maybe they can get him for a little bit less. But then today, Ezra Cleveland signed with the Jags for 3 years. They didn't want to let him walk. And he's getting $9 million a year. $9 million a year for Ezra Cleveland. He is not good. He's young, 25, and maybe he could develop. He could pass block a little bit, but he's a very incomplete back. I mean, he's half the player that Hunt is. This really helped Hunt out and these other inside guys out. Now, I still like Onwenu. He's floating around, but he's going to even ask for probably more money than Hunt because he could play tackle and guard. To me, it felt so good last night. I should have done a podcast on the Hope thing yesterday. But with Ezra Cleveland signed $9 million, I'm very concerned that Hunt's going to walk. And the biggest, he should have been our foundational piece. He can move guys out. He can block. I'm hoping something can get done. I feel a little bit dour on that. Now, he was on Joe Rose, and he said the doors are closed to Miami, but Greer said last week that the doors were open, and so people are saying, well, did Greer lie? Did he not lie? What's going on here? And I really don't know. Dundee Dolphin, because I'm using the Twitter thing, he said this: is there a basis to assume a lie? Did Greer say he told X directly that he could come back? Was Greer saying to X via the media that he could come back? Did Greer and X hold discussions at all? Did X agent omit to tell X for his own reasons? I don't know. I don't know either. But I know that if you're going to tell the media that the doors are open and you don't tell a player of X's caliber personally and you leave that open, it's not the wisest move and it creates things like this. So it wasn't a wise move at best by Greer. But I think the bottom line is X is gone. And I think he's got to be. I wouldn't put the money into him unless it was like bare minimum because of his health. So I think the doors with X is now closed. Now, Jonnu Smith, one of the things you could say you don't like about him is obviously the lack of physicality and this and that. But what I saw is the first time ever the tight ends were being viewed going against cornerbacks at the combine. And that is the canary in a coal mine, is what people are seeing. These tight end positions, the tight end position has always been valuable. Kind of tapered off a little bit after the Gronk thing era, but now it's rising back to prominence. Adding in the physicality of the run game, being a mismatch, all the top teams have at least one or two tight ends. It is so critical. And they want to, now what they're doing is the defenses, in order to stop this pass attack, they load up on nickel light boxes, and you've got to have guys to cover these tight ends because the tight end is so big and fast that he's faster than the linebackers for the most part, and he's bigger than the corners, and he muscles them out. So if you can get a corner, you can see who matches up well against a tight end. It's a big deal. And then conversely, if these tight ends can beat the corners, this is the yin and yang on the way the DCs and OCs are matching up. Now, again, it goes back to inside running is another way to break these light boxes nickels. And that's what the Ravens did a lot last year with success. So this tight end position is so critical, and guys that can match up on the tight ends is so critical. So I understand why they did it. I just wish they could have finally got a tight end who at least was like above average in the blocking department. It would go so far with this team, but it's not going to happen this year. Now, the cap dropped. We were like 19 million, and now we're at 20.5, and then you add in Jonnu Smith, it's 25.5 million. Unless they're deferring more of it to next year. The cap is tight. People have been saying for a while there is no such thing as a cap. I said there was. We're letting people walk. That means there's flexibility. But next year it's tight too. Guys, we have 78 million next year with only 26 players. And then you got to push. If you look here, you can see the top guys we got on our roster, the foundational pieces, Hill, Ramsey, and Chubb. 31 million, 28 million, and 27 million cap value. Then you add Tua, which will get pushed because you need free up money. Tehran, he's 20, but even if you cut him next year, you'll see here, you're going to hit, if you cut him pre-June, it's 12, 13 million dead money. So you're going to have to cut him post-June. So he's going to be here too. That's your foundation. These four pieces. And then you add in Tua. But Chubb is always injured, and you're going to push money. Okay, so you extend his contract. So it's going to be even, you're going to extend it into 26. And we're not too free up there. We got like 12 players on the roster and 100 million. Armstead, I love the guy. I love my man, Tehran. But how long can this guy keep it up? Maybe he's retiring. I don't know. Ramsey, he'll be 32. Tyreek, yeah, he'll be 32. That's a lot of money, guys. This cap is real. We will be tight until at least 26 unless we do something. But it looks like we're going to kind of extend it out, and I think 26 is going to start feeling the hit too. So we're gonna have to go light. It's not going to be what you want. It's one of the reasons why I think Hunt's not going to be here. Jackson, Eichenberg, Cam Smith, Tyndall, Easy, Achane, Kohu, Julian Hill, Brooks, Peely, Boner. These guys are going to be found. They have to step up. A portion of these guys have to step up and fill holes. Even if you trade back, you might get 3-4 picks, in the nice areas, around 4 up until about the 4th round if you do it right. But you can't get all of them hits. So it's 2 guys you can add. And then, maybe some light free agents. These guys have to step up. And this is why we're getting a guy like Julian Hill. I think this is why we're leaning into finesse. You got Eichenberg, who's going to be your center. He's going to be your center, and Jackson, neither one drive block. Tehran is awesome, not the greatest drive blocker, especially now. So you're going to run your crack seals. You're going to pass and lean into it more. Still go for the fast throws. You have no choice, it seems like, and this is what they're going to do. So be prepared. Understand you're not getting that physical style offense. If we can bring Hunt back and get that guard or center, then maybe you can find a left guard, veteran cheat maybe, but I don't know if we're going to be able to afford it. I really like that guy, John Powers, center, to be our center of the future. Pair him up with Hunt. That's the kind of direction I would have gone. But it seems like we're heading to finesse. And I think you got to accept that. And maybe it worked out for the best. We will see. Now, Baker, he's leaving. I wanted Warner. Baker was a solid play for us. Did a good job. Great guy. Gave everything. Unbelievable when it came to the blitz. Paired with Flores, he was such an impact player for us. He did lack attack, stack, and shed and diagnose, and he wasn't the best cover guy, but all those things improved. But he's not going to be doing that anymore. With what we're doing now with Weaver's system, you're going to need a good will linebacker, and I think they're pegging Tyndall to do it. Baker was a great guy for us. I just wanted to give him the justice to say thank you for all you did. I really liked the guy. Didn't, have concerns about his ability, but he did grow, and he gave his all, and that's all you can ever ask. So here we are, guys. Things are starting to shape up. Jonnu Smith tells us a ton. If we could just bring Hunt back, it would feel so good. But we'll see. It's getting there. Curtis saying, thanks for stopping by. Catch you soon. Be well. Go Fins. Building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.